A special mass for the late Environmental Affairs Minister Edna Molewa is underway at the Catholic Church in the Pretoria CBD. Another vigil service is expected to take place after her body arrives at her home in Waterkloof this evening. For more on this, let us now cross live to our reporter Ofentse Setimo, who is monitoring the proceedings for us, and he joins us from Pretoria now. Ofentse, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for coming through. Now, talk to us about what is currently happening.
Thank you very much, Palisa. As you mentioned, we're coming to you live from the late Minister Edna Molewa's residence here at Waterkloof Ridge, and preparations are actually underway for tomorrow's proceedings. As you know, that the body is actually expected to arrive here at around 5:30, and there's going to be some sort of a smaller nyana service, But joining us right now is the minister's spokesperson, who's actually going to elaborate further on some of the proceedings and what is to be expected. Thank you very much for availing yourself once again. If you can just elaborate, Mr. Modise.
Well, the family is currently at a mass gathering for a church service that is expected to end just before 5 o'clock. From there, the procession would, the cortege would proceed to the house where the body will be welcome here at home. And all the preparations are well underway, as you correctly pointed out, for tomorrow. The Tshwane Events Ground is ready to host hundreds of South Africans who will be streaming in to bid our final fond farewell to Dr. Edna Molewa tomorrow. We expect that the procession would leave the house tomorrow morning just after 7 o'clock or thereabouts, to head to the Tshwane Event Center, where the ceremony or the service will be hosted, led by President Cyril Ramaphosa tomorrow, joined by cabinet ministers, friends of the minister, and as well as fellow South Africans who would be coming in to say goodbye to Minister Molewa.
And it's the official funeral. So at which part of the ceremony will the public be allowed to take part? Because I can imagine some would actually want to also bid the minister farewell, as she was their public servant.
Indeed, I mean, Minister Molewa served with distinction in various capacities, from the province of the Northwest to national parliament as just a member of parliament, and also as a minister. Because of that particular reality, the event is open, or the funeral is open to all members of the public who would like to come and also join other South Africans to bid a goodbye to Minister Molewa. So it's not in any way closed at all. Members of the public who would like to join us tomorrow are also urged to be there and seated at least by 8 o'clock when the program starts, and when the president and the family are expected to arrive after having had a morning session at home, a prayer session that would then culminate in the service that will start at around 8 o'clock.
And a lot of work has had to happen behind the scenes to ensure that everything runs smoothly. I understand there's the interministerial team that's actually handling the funeral arrangements. Can you elaborate on that? In the past 2 weeks, what has had to happen in order to get to where we are today?
An operation of this nature, Ofentse, it requires a lot of collaborations between ourselves as Department of Environmental Affairs, led and guided by the presidency, working also in collaboration with the Department of Public Works. So we had a funeral planning committee which ensured that all logistics for the funerals are well executed, and it reports into an interministerial committee that's chaired by the Minister in the Presidency, Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, joined amongst others by Minister Mokonyane and other ministers from within the social cluster and the security clusters. And those are preparatory platforms that we would all work around and feed into as government, to ensure that firstly that the minister is given the respect she deserves, but also secondly that all the requirements and all the prerequisites that are linked to an official funeral are met. The security elements, the respect that she is supposed to be accorded, but at the same time allowing members of the public an opportunity to also bid the minister goodbye.
Yes. And what would be the advice for motorists, especially those that use roads that are close to the Tshwane Event Center precinct?
Look, they've been advised by the net joints that they should actually avoid those roads, because we expect that tomorrow morning, just from around 6 o'clock or so, there will be large convoys of cars trying to find their way into the premises of the Tshwane Event Center. So if you can avoid areas around the Tshwane Event Center, please do that. And we anticipate that around around midday or so, we will be then the cortege will leave the Tshwane Event Center to proceed to the Zandfontein Cemetery, where the mortal remains of Minister Molewa would be taken and laid to rest at that particular cemetery.
That was Albi Modise, the late minister spokesperson, actually elaborating that the public is actually invited as well, if they want to bid the minister farewell, to come join. And also a advisory to motorists that actually use that road close to the Tshwane Event Center precinct, to say that they should avoid it at all costs, because from 6 o'clock in the morning, there's just going to be a hive of activity in routes that are leading to the event center, and they should avoid it at all costs. Back to studio.
All right, Ofentse, we'll leave it at that. Many thanks there to our reporter, Ofentse Setimo, live from the Waterkloof Ridge. That's, of course, the home for the late Environmental Affairs Minister Edna Molewa, updating us about the vigil that is to be held, of course, this evening, of course, and the funeral proceedings for tomorrow.